Welcome to Stories Behind the Wealth, the show where high-earning professionals discover the real-life moments behind financial success with your host, Gaffar Chowdhury. For almost 2 decades, he's helped successful individuals and business owners navigate wealth with clarity and confidence. On this show, we go beyond the spreadsheets, sharing the turning points, mind shifts, and personal stories that shape how people manage money and life. Money talks. We listen. And what we hear might just change the way you think.
Welcome back to Stories Behind the Wealth. I'm your host, Gaffar Chowdhury, and I'm excited to introduce someone I have known since high school. Someone I watched grind, build, and go from just having a vision to running a multi-location chiropractic franchise with a celebrity clientele and a social media following that is growing faster than almost anyone I know. Reza Eftekhar, welcome to the show, my man.
Thank you so much. I'm glad you gave a great introduction. I like to keep it humble. I am the number one celebrity chiropractor in the DMV in Atlanta. So just want to keep it humble and just say the basics here.
Fantastic. That's a great way to start. Great way to start. All right. So for the people who don't know you yet, right, give us the 60-second version. Who are you? What is My Favorite Doctor? And where are you today when it comes to the business?
That's a lot of questions for 60 seconds.
Take a little bit longer. If you need some more time, go for it. Yeah.
So I might take 65 seconds. So I'm going to tell you where I am a chiropractor by trade. I have envisioned really bringing chiropractic to its roots of being a little bit of old school with concept of new school, because I feel like the chiropractic vision right now, they're either doing a lot of technology or they're super old school, but the old school way is dying off. It's a little bit more hands-on and it's not as popular because it takes a lot of toll on the doctors as well. And so what I envision of doing a healthy combination of both of the old school way of really hands-on, because patients love that part, and also using technology like the laser treatment, ultrasound, electrical stem, dry needling, orthotics. We use a special scanner for that. We have AI. We use a lot of AI with the old school of putting hands on patients and make sure we take care of them fully in depth, because there's something magical that comes in when you have contact with the patient rather than just using lasers and tools and gadgets to go after them. So that's my vision for the concept of my practice. As far as where I'm going with this is, I turned this into a franchise about 2 years ago. We're at 9 locations today. We're going to 9 locations. And my vision is that at one point within the next year, I should be at every major city within a 20-minute radius of the entire DMV. That's my number one goal. Number 2 is take over the full East Coast with more clients and more clinics from Florida, North Carolina. I have one in Georgia, Atlanta already, and going up north, and building a large franchise to be able to give this model to patients, because people are just tired of taking medication.
Love it. Love it. So that's a little bit about what you're building in the business. Tell us a little bit about you.
So I am the humble version of it. No, I'm kidding.
Whatever version you want to give us.
Whatever version. I like to be the best at what I do. I study my craft. I study research. I'm also a faculty professor, adjunct assistant professor at George Washington University School of Medicine and Health Sciences. As I've done that for many years. I've been a faculty there many years. Before that, for 2 years, I was also faculty at University of Maryland School of Medicine as their youngest faculty, I believe, at the age of 26 at the School of Medicine. And at the same time, I built the practice with $700 and I was able to turn it into basically a shack of a place I was just renting on the side. Was able to build into a franchise, of the multi-million-dollar franchise at this point, within a span of about 10 years,
That's
and we're
fantastic.
growing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why chiropractic?
So a great question. Chiropractic care, it really changed a few things. It changed my mom's life, to be really point with it. At one point, she was getting this really bad dizziness, vertigo, and basically what happened was we happened to get in a car accident. We happened to go to the chiropractor, and this vertigo she was getting for years and years, to a point she went to Harvard doctors, Europe, Middle East, and no doctor could figure it out. Medication. At the end of it, one family doctor we had, he's like, we just got to live with it because this was so bad. It would get her and she would be throwing up everywhere just from that dizziness. It was horrific. We almost took away her keys almost towards the end. We were like, okay, you can't do that because it was uncontrollable. It wasn't even one of those things where she could just wait. Oh, I feel something. Let me pull over. It was like, I feel it. It's done. She was on the ground.
Wow.
And we went to the chiropractor. We found out one of her vertebrae was slightly out of alignment, and that was throwing off her ear mechanism where the crystals are, and that's what it was. So he gave her one adjustment. The one time, it never, she never had it after that, and that was one of the most magical things I've ever seen, really, because that was just like it was taking over her life. And so, and that was I was in high school at that time, and I got exposed to it, and I was always good with my hands because before that, my sister was studying massage therapy, just in the library, old fashioned way people go and read a book, um, and so she would come and like, you know, I was a guinea pig to massage, and of course, I was like, "What are you doing?" You're a kid. You're like, "Get up." So then I feel like she was trying to teach me, so I was massaging. She was like, "Oh, now can you do this to me?" Now I'm over here massaging her. And, so I'm in, like, maybe 6th grade, 4th grade, I don't know, 5th grade at the time, and then, what happened was at a family event, just a party, one of my uncles was like, "Oh, I have neck pain. I wish I need a massage." And my sister was like, "Hey, Reza does a really good job." So I'm over here giving a massage, and then he gave me 20 bucks. I was like, "Okay." And my uncle's like, "What about me?" I'm over here cashing out $100 a party. And I'm like, "This is really good." So that kinda enticed me of, like, I'm good with my hands, and then I saw that in high school, and then right well, my mom turned around to me, she was like, "You're good with your hand, why don't you do what she's doing?" And that just chiropractic just clicked with me, and it resonated with me of such a magic, and I've seen I like to call it magic, but realistically, it's all biomechanics, but the stuff I've seen that care for patients where they come in with some wild things that no doctor can fix, and um, putting the body in a healthy situation really helps it promote its own health, and that seems to, the innate process of the body really helps out. So that's
Wow. That is a really cool origin story. Thanks for sharing that. Obviously you had a family connection there with your mom, and then, you started to kind of explore that segment of medicine a little bit more in depth and went to school for it, and now you're in the process of building something really big. Yeah.
correct.
Yeah. That's great. All right, so let's get into what I think the real story is here, which is the social media growth. Because when I look at what you've been able to build online, it's just not impressive. It's intentional. So when did you actually get serious about it?
So I always had a little bit of presence on social media, and it really started during the pandemic. And the reason it pushed me into it because I never believed in. So I was like, "Oh, who's gonna watch me from California?" And well, just come up. Let me tell you, I have people come from California, New Mexico, Boston, Hawaii, Canada, all the island countries, all the East Coast states, some of the Mid Coast and West Coast. And not only that, just like a couple of days ago, I had somebody here from Turkmenistan. Okay. And they actually read me a Google review too. I was like, no one's going to believe this. You need to write down where you can. So social media is amazing. the reason we started going after social media was that during the pandemic, so I used to do a lot of health fairs, and doing a lot of health fairs, um, I was going to the State Department, Defense Department, NASA, the U.S. Mint, Treasury. I mean, you name it, they all have a health fair and stuff like that. Take my stuff, take the staff, take my equipment, stand there all day. Some of them like are 2-day events for like um, NBC4 Health and Fitness Expo and stuff like that. You go there all day, Fairfax County, whatever. It was cool. I mean, it really helped me build the business, interact, talk to people, do a lot of face to face. But it was first of all, I have to close the office for whatever time. I have to pay the staff to be there, drag all my equipment, spend 2 days there. It was a lot of work. And pandemic hit, all that got shut down. So now I'm like, how am I gonna get clients anymore? So then what happened was um I was doing I was paying for some ads at this gym on TV, and somebody hit me up from there and said, "Oh, I need to send a friend of mine to you." I was like, "Okay." So he comes in. He's really well known in the DMV. His clout on isn't, and he has pretty good amount. I would say probably like 50,000 followers, something like that. But it's loyal fans too. Like it's hard. Sometimes you can have 50,000, nobody really listens. It's different. It's difficult, but um, he has like a tribe on that thing. So people like if he says go there, and people just. So he came in. He was really bad shape. I hooked him up. He's like, how can I repay you? How can I help you? I was like, I don't know. He's like, what? He was like, I need to put you on my Instagram. I was like, all right, whatever. So we just stood there. He stood there next to me. He's like, Doctor is amazing. If you guys F with me, you need to come see him right now. Da, da, da. And I saw a flood of people. I was like, so is this social media? And so that really enticed me to really explore it. So I started to go a little bit heavier on it. But again, it's hard. I don't know what to post. I don't know who to post. I had some staff there, younger people. I was like, okay, let me do this or that. Can you help me out? So one of them was putting a picture of a skeleton and putting a factual statement. Did you know that the Egyptians have found the third bone from their head? Something funny or interesting topic. And then my friends started making fun of me. They call it, backtrack facts. So, it was like a really terrible picture of a skeleton with like a little fag. And so, it starts off like that. So it starts off like that. Then you're like, okay, then I'm looking at other people to see what they've done, and then to really find your own niche. And I have evolved since 2020 pandemic, where the way I do it, the amount of videos I post, the quality of videos I post, and stuff like that. Um, but really start off like that to really open my eye up on social media. Like then once I started blowing up on social media, I was like, "Well, I don't have to do any of these health fairs anymore." And thankfully, I've done none since. Because it was a lot of work. It
Yeah.
was good, but it was a lot of work. But now, it took me what 2 days. I talked to 200 people in 2 days, best case scenario. And God knows, now I post one video, thousands, millions will see. You can't compete with that.
Right.
And
Right.
I had to do one video.
Yeah.
So that's really how I got started with that one guy really just blowing me up on his Instagram for me to say, okay, I need to put energy into this. I need to put some focus, and I need to build this up.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome. And tell us the brand, the name of the practice. I mentioned it in the intro, but let's hear it from you.
Sure. It is called at my favorite, just like the at sign, my favorite doctor chiropractic. And the reason I changed that it didn't, so that's the franchise name. And the reason I chose that franchise name past 2 years and I changed all the offices to that is because of 1-800-Flowers. And the reason 1-800-Flowers gave me the concept of that is because that's when cell phones came about. Me and you are about the same age. So
Yeah.
1-800-Flowers came out, people were like, wait a minute, is that a phone number? of the business name, you know? And that's what cell phones should be like, oh man, I can just call 1-800-Flower. That's the business name. Everybody can remember that. And so I'm looking at what am I gonna call this thing? So I decided to call it my Instagram name. And there's a whole answer to how I came up with the name, which I can probably share with you. But I named it at my favorite doctor because when we have these logos outside, a lot of my offices are retail stores. From outside, the people are gonna see at my favorite doctor. They already know YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, whatever you go into. Lemonade, that's a new one that we're in now. Whatever you go into, you can put at my favorite doctor, and all my videos come out, all my, how we do work and all the
Yeah.
grants, all the website, everything's there. So that's the best way to do a concept of 1-800-Flowers, where cell phones just gone. Now social media is gonna be the game, and people can just make their appointment through my social media, through my website, the link in the bio.
Yeah.
And my website's called At My Favorite Doctor, but this one written out www.at, not the at symbol, at myfavoritedoctor.com.
You're a chiropractor, but you've got this marketing mind that's brought you to this place, and I think it's gonna be pretty cool to watch. Yeah. Well, walk me through the content strategy. Like, what types of posts actually move the needle? Like, what gets people to follow, share, and more importantly, walk in through the door?
You gotta try everything, and you have to make sure you. The way I do it is different than your personality. People can read through the screen. They'll know if you're just acting or acting like not yourself. It shows. And so the number one thing I would tell you is that act like yourself and be yourself. And there's 7 billion people in the world. You'll find a couple million people that resonate with you. Okay. So that's number one. Number two is that um, you try everything. Try educational, try something funny, try regular stuff, try go to other people in your niche and see how do they become successful, and try their method and see if you can own it, and maybe do a little spin to it. It doesn't have to be exactly the same. Do it your way, but with their concept. And and you'll be able to mold your content in a way that you have a combination of maybe other people's tactics with your own personality, with the way you want to do it, and come up with the golden thing. And then at the same time, so for me, mine has educational piece. It has a piece of just my regular life of how I do treatment. Um, it has celebrity piece to it. It has some that I use my meta glasses, and I'm just showing a day in the life of how I do things. And it has some where I'm in front of the camera, um, and I'm maybe interviewing people at the same time. And that's my new podcast as well, Down to the Crack. And I'll tell you how I came up with that name. Um, but uh, but basically speaking, you come up with your own model, and then you try different methods, and then sometimes you need a combination of, I do maybe a trend song. I might do one of those. I don't do too many of those, but I make a fool a little bit. I do a day in a life kind of situation. I do educational piece where I be like, here's 3 tactics, and I use some AI, not a lot, but I use some AI now as well to make videos. But a lot of my videos are organic.
So, how do you stay consistent across all the various platforms, creating content, and try to grow this franchise? You mentioned to me earlier, 9 locations, right?
Right,
And growing,
right.
right? So, talk to me a little bit about that. Like, how are you doing it?
I would tell you that, okay, I'm running 2 different things. I have the management side, I have the franchise side. I'm running my own practice, I'm inside. I'm running staff. I'm running my household. I'm running 3 kids. I'm running family. I'm running my mother and this and that. So there's a lot of, like, it can take a toll. Now I'm able to kind of hire people, kind of help me out a little bit, but again, it's still, I'm not at the place where I give all my hats off yet. So that's part of the learning process of start taking hats off.
Yeah.
And I've done some of that, but finding the right people to take it off, it's hard, man. That taking your hat off and giving to somebody else is a tough one, because it's almost like, oh God, I know I can just do it faster, easier than myself, and probably better, but I can't scale that. So I gotta find the right people to kind of help me out.
So
Plus,
true.
I can only do so many of them.
At the end of the day, you've got to know your audience, and I think that's what you're really focusing on a day-to-day basis, right? All right, so we're gonna close things out with our rapid fire round. Short
Okay.
answers, first thing that comes to mind. Are you ready?
Is it controversial? Because I don't get
It won't be controversial. At least I hope not.
okay, all right.
All right, starting with hardest moment in building this.
Pandemic, I went down 80% revenue and patient um, in about a month. So I was going down 20% a week to a point that I thought I was about to go bankrupt.
Close up shop.
Really, I mean,
Yeah.
it was just getting there.
Yeah.
And then I stayed consistent, went into social media, didn't give up. All the other chiropractors around me, they were either, boomers that were retiring. They were like, F this, like, I'm done with this world. Or people were just leaving, or some people were unfortunately getting sick too. But I didn't give up. I went hard on it. From that year was my first year. I was doing well throughout. I went to a almost bankruptcy to becoming a millionaire same year.
Love it. See, you're good at
Yeah.
the rapid fire stuff. You got
Okay.
this.
All right. Excellent. But it was
All
tough.
right. One thing most people get wrong about scaling a service-oriented business.
They can't scale it, and they can't teach someone else to do it like them. And so it's always hard to do that. If you want to scale it, you're not gonna have the same quality. But if you want to scale it, you got to teach them. If they're good, if the person can learn 80% of what you're doing, it should be enough to be able to scale it pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's probably number one. And number two would be hard part get wrong is that they're not consistent.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go back to
Yeah.
that. They're not consistent in what they're doing, and they give up too easy.
Yeah. Yeah. I was going to chime in and say that you're absolutely right. The consistency part,
Yeah.
you've mentioned it
Yeah.
time and time again throughout our
Yeah.
conversation. So, yeah, I would definitely agree
Right.
with that. Best piece of advice you have ever received?
Never take no for an answer in business.
Yeah, definitely. Was there a book, podcast, or an individual that changed the way you think?
I'll go back to Gary Vee. I think that's a big one that I listen to consistently. Um, and and I would say my wife too, because I feel like she really pushed me on certain aspect that um I wasn't thinking before in regards to business, because she was always telling me you should do social media, and I wasn't listening to her because I should have listened to her earlier. I would have been ahead
Absolutely,
right now.
yeah. One of
Yeah.
your most trusted advisors, right?
Yeah. Oh
Yeah,
yeah. She is.
yeah. That's fantastic, man. This is one of my favorite questions for obvious reasons,
Okay.
but what does wealth mean to you?
So I'm gonna answer that in two parts. It means freedom of time. So not necessarily money. My mom is not a millionaire, but she can, within reason, go anywhere, anytime. She lives, she doesn't work right now. She's retired, and she can do whatever she has fun. She goes on cruises. She goes, anywhere she wants to go. She has, So I would say have freedom of time to do reasonable things based on your enjoyment in life.
Yeah, well said.
But I will say is that if you compare me to my mom, I'm probably much more financially better off than her, but she has a lot more free time than I. She has more, she's freer to use her time than me. Um, so, but I will add one thing, and I learned this from Jay-Z. Okay, he said that the point of life is not to be rich and famous. And it's just funny, it comes from somebody that's rich and famous. He said the point of life is to find your purpose and to live your life through that. And that really it sums up my life where I live through as being a chiropractor. People know me as a chiropractor. People know me as a healer. I don't when I do these franchises, it's not even about the money. I mean, I'm fine. I don't need the the hustle and bustle of building this franchise for the money. It's because it's a very high risk too. So I put a lot in line to my brand, my name, my time, my this and that to something maybe worth maybe doesn't, but thankfully right now it's great. But I would say that um, this is something that's my passion, and I'm just following my passion, and I'm trying to grow my passion so that I can service many people, not just the people that can see me. And this will grow until even after I'm no longer on this earth, where my idea, my passion, my service to people will keep on helping others even after I'm gone.
You're
Hopefully, that's
you're
the goal.
you're building a legacy. Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. What is next for the My Favorite Doctor brand in the next 12 months? Give us some insight there.
And next 12 months, I plan to my goal is to complete my vision of 14 franchises by the end by ASAP. So that I'm 20 minutes away from every major city within the entire DC, Virginia, Maryland area, so that everyone in the DMV can have access to one of my clinics within 20-minute radius. Then what I like to do is put a lot of money into social media and advertising and to become the gecko commercial of the DMV
Nice. Nice.
once I complete that 14.
Speaking of, where can people find you and the brand?
So on social media, at
Yep.
my favorite doctor, at my underscore favorite underscore doctor. It's a yellow picture you will see
Yep.
because I have many social medias even within Instagram for other locations, Vienna, this, that, Columbia, Maryland, this, that. So make sure you don't get it twisted so the main brand is at my favorite doctor, look for a yellow logo. That's number one. If they go into my social media, link in the bio to my website, which is also www.at myfavoritedoctor.com, and they can find all our locations and make appointment. I'm personally in the Alexandria and DC office. I do a little combo action there, but all my doctors are great. All of them will do good. I highly recommend my whole concept to
Yeah.
anybody.
Love it. Love it. Well, Reza, this has been real. I love
Yes.
watching what you are building, and I think the biggest takeaway for the listener is that the business and the brand are not separate things to you. The social media is the growth engine. Huge respect to what you've built, and I look forward to continuing to follow the journey.
Thank you for tuning in to Stories Behind the Wealth. Be sure to click the follow button to be notified when new episodes become available. If you're a busy, accomplished professional or a business owner looking to build confidence in your financial future, visit us at districtwealthstrategies.com or call 202-759-8524 to learn how our team can help. Because money talks, we listen, and the stories are just getting started. The views and opinions expressed are those of the program participants and are not necessarily those of MML Investor Services, LLC. The material is not intended as recommendations appropriate for you. You should strongly consider seeking advice from your own investment specialist. Gaffar Chowdhury is a registered representative of and offers securities through MML Investor Services, LLC, member SIPC, OSJ 530 Gaither Road, Suite 350, Rockville, Maryland, 20850, phone number 301-355-5800. District Wealth Strategies is not a subsidiary or an affiliate of MML Investor Services, LLC.